Deep in a forgotten corner of the woods, where sunlight dappled through emerald leaves and wild mushrooms grew in perfect circles, Thomas wandered aimlessly. At 30, his life felt hollow, marked by the empty spaces left by those he'd lost. His childhood home sat silent without his parents' laughter, and the corner of his couch still held the indent where his old dog Max used to curl up. On this particular autumn morning, the forest seemed different. Mist curled around ancient tree trunks like ribbons of silk, and the air sparkled with something that might have been dewdrops or might have been magic. Thomas followed a path he'd never noticed before, drawn by the sound of wind chimes, though there were no houses for miles. That's when he saw it, a shimmering curtain of light between two weathered oak trees. It pulsed with gentle colors, like the northern lights had descended to dance among the ferns. Without thinking, Thomas reached out to touch it. The light wrapped around his fingers, warm and inviting, and suddenly he was somewhere else. He stood in his parents' kitchen, exactly as it had been 5 years ago. The smell of his mother's apple pie filled the air, and there she was, pulling it from the oven while his father read the newspaper at the table. Max, his beloved golden retriever, lay in his usual spot by the back door, tail thumping against the floor.
"Tommy, we've been waiting for you."
The hours he spent there felt both endless and too brief. They talked, laughed, shared meals, and when Thomas finally stepped back through the portal, his heart felt lighter than it had in years. He discovered he could return whenever he wanted, each visit healing another piece of his soul. As weeks passed, Thomas began to change. The weight of grief lifted from his shoulders. He smiled more, started painting again, began volunteering at the local animal shelter. The portal gave him more than just visits with loved ones. It gave him peace, knowing they were still there, still loving him, still watching over him. Sometimes he brought photos of his new life to show them, telling them about the rescue dog he'd adopted, the art gallery that wanted to display his work, the garden he'd planted in their memory. His mother would cry happy tears, his father would beam with pride, and Max would rest his head on Thomas's knee, just like he used to. The forest portal became his sanctuary, but no longer his escape. Instead, it was a bridge between two worlds, helping him build a life filled with both memory and hope, past and future, love that was lost and love that was waiting to be found. In time, Thomas realized that true happiness wasn't about living in either world exclusively, but about carrying the best of both in his heart. And so he learned to walk between realities with grace, his steps lighter, his smile brighter, knowing that magic existed in the space between what was and what could be.